go, dude. That's so good. I love Nico. Nico's my favorite character. The dialogue was hilarious, man. Zeph is an idiot, and I love it. Okay, we're gonna read Strago's story next. I'm excited, man. I'm actually excited for this one. Oh, this isn't even on. This isn't on the Wattpad. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I did get the notification for that. So he basically insults Nico, who I'm assuming is a very arrogant demon. Nico saves him from Imp Army. Yes. Right. Okay, coolio. So this is chapter 5 of Soul Rejected 200, which is available on Wattpad, by the way. And so far, it's been a while since I read this. So in chapters 1 to 4, essentially a lot happened. The main character, Zephaniah, was murdered by his friend who was possessed by a demon, and he was sent to heaven, where he met some angels, and one of the angels essentially was like, rejected him, and sent him to hell, and he went to hell, and he was almost consumed by these little imp demons, but then a demon named Nico showed up and basically saved him. So a lot's happened, a lot has gone on. Deal? Nico tried to make sense of the human in front of him. He looked him up and down as the terms of the deal dawned on him. If Zeph simply listened to Nico, Nico would have to keep him from dying to these things. I don't accept. Nico stares deep into Zeph's eyes. Wait, you have to accept the deal. Oh, really? Is that how deals work where you come from? Nico raised a sarcastic eyebrow at Zeph. Nico seemed to delight too much in Zeph's disappointment. But I thought... Well, don't do that. Look where that got you. Nico almost sang it as he started walking away. You thought you outsmarted me. You won't survive that mistake again. Zeph looked down as the demon approached the parting crowd of imps. Hell's denizens could be so cruel. So far, everybody he met in Hell has tried to kill him, eat him, or both. Nico was the closest thing to civilized in this forsaken place, but just threatened murder if Zeph ever tried anything. Again? Zephaniah looked up to see Nico only a few feet away from him. The demon seemed to slow down a little. Nico didn't turn around to let Zephaniah see his smirk. Catch up, Fallen. Let's talk business. Zeph took only a moment to look back at the throng of snarling imps before hurrying to follow Nico. He walked silently behind the demon, wondering if and when he would have to defend himself. Could he even defend himself against Nico? Zeph knew that punch earlier hit harder than he ever could have before he died. He wasn't sure how he could deliver such force, but Nico was able to block it nevertheless. He blocked it with one hand. Zeph wondered whether he was in the frying pan or the fryer. As he continued, he finally had a chance to take in his escort's features. Nico was slightly shorter than Zeph, but somehow held himself higher. He looked more like a butler than demon, wearing matching black pants and vest over a white long-sleeved shirt. The material of the shirt looked like cotton, but didn't have a single stain on it, despite the rusty, dusty landscape of Hell. His hair was long, silver, and restrained in a ponytail. Despite his formal attire and calm demeanor, Zephaniah didn't feel like he could let his guard down around him. You can relax. Nico didn't turn back to say it, giving Zeph the sense his thoughts were heard. How do I know? Zeph looked around at the walls of imps on either sides of him as they walked. You still draw breath, don't you? Yes, at least I think I do. But why do I feel like you aren't helping me out of the kindness of your heart? Do you have a heart? As a matter of fact, I do have a heart. As for your presumption about my intentions... Nico pivoted on the next stride to turn around, stopped in Zeph's face again. He was about to speak, but looked up over Zeph's shoulder at something before continuing. I think you might have some value after all. I want to make a deal. A real deal. He didn't look at Zeph again before facing front again to walk. First, we need to go somewhere with a little more privacy. I know you're keeping me alive and all, but I'm not really that kind of guy. I'm flattered, but... Zeph scratched the back of his head, slowing half a step. Not that sort of deal, Zeph. Did you know that not everyone ends up at heaven's gates? Nico said. No, I did. Zeph's lips clapped shut as he is cut off. Hush, Fallen, it was rhetorical. Nico raises a quieting hand over quieting hand over his shoulder. Most people enter hell through the undersea trenches. Couple those facts with your story, and I am willing to bet that you were never supposed to go to hell in the first place. That's what I said. Pete told me I didn't belong here either. Are you going to keep interrupting? Nico offered a perturbed face over his shoulder, met with Zeph's apologetic wince. First of all, you never said that at all. Second of all, you may be a Cambion. Nico stopped in the sand again to look over his shoulder again at Zephaniah, expectantly, his eyebrows raised at the human. Zeph silently returned a confused eyebrow and a glance to the side. You aren't going to ask? Nico turns his body a little more and tilts his head. Zephaniah squints a little, unsure if he should speak up. Nico gives a single encouraging nod. What's a Cambion? Don't interrupt. Nico turned back around to press onward, hiding a wide smile. Zeph throws up his hands and follows the demon. I think you got demon in you, Fallen. That's what Cambion means, and I think that's why heaven rejected you. The sands they walked on mixed into pebbles and soon became gravel. They left behind a wall of imps that stopped on an invisible line at the end of the beach. They panted and undulated at the edge of their territory. Zeph wanted to ask about them, but decided against it. When you told the angels the name of the blade, you said it boiled up from within you. When you told me the name of blade, well, suffice to say, I don't think your possessed friend called it dumb ball. Zeph could only flinch silently at his own idiotic words. Nico continued. I think that blade was a shard of Dunball, a demon, a big and very old demon. Nico led Zeph away from the beach. I think when you got stabbed, they left it in there. There is a demon in me? Zeph looked down at himself. It was then he noticed the body he stood in. It wasn't the same before he died, but it was close. It felt taller and had a distinct muscular tone despite his clothes. As for those clothes, he was clad in his favorite red t-shirt from his closet and his good pair of jeans. He was like a much better version of himself before he died. He distractedly pondered how all this was possible when Nico corrected him. Not the whole demon. You would pop like a little pimple if that whole demon was shoved inside of you. Either way, that could never happen. Most of Dunball is up there. Nico pointed to a nebulous cloud in the sky and continued through what was quickly becoming a barren waste. You see, Fallen, Dunball is a thing of legend, ancient, more so than me. He was the leader of some rebellion that attempted to overthrow the council. Nico stops to turn around on Zeph. Demons like him don't die so easily, so they simply shatter him. Sorry. A bunch of those shards were cast towards that neutron star. My bet someone snuck a sliver of that big guy and got you with it. Nico jabbed 2 fingers into Zeph's chest in the exact spot where he was stabbed. Nico tapped the fingers on each word for emphasis. Right through your little heart. So what does any of this matter? Zephaniah rubbed his sternum. Okay, I'm getting the sense you aren't the sharpest cheese in the pantry, so I'm going to explain this slowly. If someone wanted you out of the way, they would just kill you, shoot you, strangle you, slit your throat, run you over with a delivery truck. You get the picture. Through Zeph's face, it was evident he wasn't getting the picture. Nico sighed and continued his explanation. Tainting someone's soul is the nuclear option. You don't use nukes to kill one useless nobody unless you really need that nobody out of the picture. I'd wager that wasn't the first time they had tried to kill either. I think I would notice if someone tried to kill me. Zeph, I haven't known you very long. I mean this in the nicest way. I don't think you would notice. Regardless, the point I am desperately trying to explain to you is that if someone went that far to stop you from getting in the way, then I don't think it's over for your son. He's not my son. Doesn't matter. Whoever possessed your girlfriend is probably still after that boy. She's not my girlfriend either. Nico waved a dismissive hand. Wife, partner, baby mama. Look, Zeph, it doesn't matter. Now, I can't pretend to care about the kid, but if you want to help him, I think I can get you back to there. Zeph glared at Nico skeptically, and this is where the catch comes in. Nico feigned offense with the back of one hand pressed to his forehead. Oh, Zeph, you cut me. I only seek to ensure this deal is mutually beneficial. You wouldn't want to just take advantage of me, would you? Okay, just tell me the deal. Nico dropped the act without delay. With a smile, he placed a hand on Zeph's shoulder, gently at first. Follow me. Suddenly, Nico's grip tightened like a vice and they were soaring through the air. Behind the demon came rushing wind and their surroundings blurred. In a moment, they were in an entirely new location. It bore the same themes of hell with red-stained stone and the sulfuric heat, but they had unmistakably moved from the wastes. Nico had dragged them both through air and a subtle transport portal faster than Zeph could even comprehend. To him, he was staring at an unmoving, devilishly smiling demon the whole time. Yet, here they were. Nico's grip loosened. Yet, here they... Sorry. Nico's grip loosened and Zeph looked around. Huh, you aren't throwing up. Nico inspected Zeph, looking puzzled for the first time. What happened? Zeph instinctively tried to catch his breath before realizing he wasn't actually affected by the move at all. Nico shook free of the distraction. We moved! We're in a mostly safe place. This is my domain. I call it Oasis. Nico outstretched both his arms to show off the new surroundings in all their opulence. It was a somewhat lit cavern with more of the same reddish stone and small cave-like openings that vaguely resembled hallways. It was simply more hell, just a little better hidden. Zeph blinked on the oasis and wondered if the real oasis was hidden around the corner somewhere. He tried to find the punchline behind Nico's eyes, but the demon seemed to be completely serious and a little giddy. So what do you think? Zeph watched the demon with uncertainty before decorum forced the words out of him. It seems like a safe area. I guess that's why you call it the Oasis. Nico proudly straightens his vest and shirt. Well, back to business. This place is not cheap. I have someone here who can send you back, but I need something in exchange. I need soul coins. Money? It's literally a business transaction? Of course, Zephy, my boy. Nico stares off in a frown. Ew, let's just keep it at Zeph. But I'm broke. You gave me my only 2 soul coins and I don't know how to get them back. Nico silently shook his head and guided Zeph down a stone corridor that seemed to be lit from unknown sources. They cornered a passageway and entered a dugout nook. Inside, there was a messy desk covered in mechanical parts and tinkering tools. A stool with a tall back was positioned in front of it. Spin, are you busy, sir? Nico stopped at the threshold of the shop opening. The top of the tool swiveled around to reveal a small, stumpy demon with thick wrinkles all over his body. Nix, what can I do you for? The demon's voice was scratched, like he gargled glass on each syllable. And who accompanies you? He was a petite creature, not much larger than a football. A thick layer of loosely folded skin wrapped his form, creasing at his corners and joints. He was practically laying upright, but in the fetal position in the chair, with his short, atrophied legs dangling uselessly over the edge. His arms, however, were lengthy, with lean muscles powering narrow needle fingers. Zeph was unfazed by the appearance of the demon. Spin, sir, we need an expert. He turned to Zeph and patted the back of the stool. Spin here is a bit of an expert in all things transitive energy. Oh, Nick, you flatter me. Be happy to help, though. What are we working with? Spin smiled toothily while he spoke. Nico proceeded to explain the circumstances of Zeph's death, and Spin shared some concurring thoughts on the matter. Zeph barely heard either of them. He was distracted by the mysteriously fleshy piece of meat that was wedged between Spin's jagged teeth. Great. Does that work for you, Zeph? Zeph shook his head, and he realized both demons were staring at him. Nico gave a face of mock impatience. Say to what? Nico took a step closer to Zeph. Do you want to make a deal? Zephaniah remembered what Pete had told him before leaving Hell. Don't make deals. But he also said Dylan was in danger, that he needs to find a way out of Hell. So far, everyone Zeph has met in Hell has tried to kill him, except for Nico. Was it really possible that Nico could help him? Other options hadn't made themselves apparent. Can you help me save Dylan? Let's be clear. I do not care about helping you or any mortal. I can get you back to the mortal plane, though. What you do with the trip is up to you. Nico folded his hands behind his back. This is where you tell me where the rest of the deal comes in, isn't it? Yes, Zeph. How's 500 sound? 500 what? Souls. I don't have any souls. Surely you are familiar with the concept of debt. Okay, but how do I pay it back if I'm broke? Honestly, Zeph, keep up. This is a simple concept. When we make this deal, you will be under contract with me. With a wave of his hand, Nico summoned a floating curled parchment, glowing in red letters floating between them. Whenever you end someone's life within the duration of the contract, I get their soul, and that's worth 1 coin. Zeph's eyebrows furrowed as he stared into the contract. Nico rolled his eyes. It's simple, really. Zeph met Nico's eyes in bewilderment. You want me to kill 500 people? Nico clapped. Impressive! It's like watching a mouse finally navigate a maze. I've never killed anyone before. Now you want me to murder 500 innocent people? Zeph turned around and stared, searching for the exit. Nico calmly followed Zeph like a predator. Innocent? I have no use for the innocent, Fallen. Zeph pushes down the rocky hallway, checking around the corners and passages for any way to escape. Panic set in more and more each time he accidentally walked in on the demon residents in each room. Their demonic faces. A small crowd of demons gathered behind Nico as he followed after Zeph. Zeph, I need the damned. The baddest of the bad, unrepentant assholes that deserve what's coming to them. My domain is not cheap, nor are the people under my care. Your sacrifices will help maintain this domain. You are insane. I am leaving this place. I'll find another way back. Nico stalked after Zeph without haste. No one will tolerate your existence, Fallen. You are tainted. Half the city would kill you as an affront to the natural order. He lets out a disturbing laugh. The other half would eat you just to know what you taste like. I don't care. I'll run. I'll fight. Zeph gritted his teeth as he rounded another corner. I won't give up. Stop this game, Zeph. This is frivolous. You can go back to the mortals. Save Dylan. Save the girl. I'll get you there. You can take your time paying me back. Zeph found the end of the hallway. He stared at the red-veined stone, feeling the heat of the half-dozen demons standing only a few feet behind him. Their crowd stood at the gates of his emotions. He had to escape to save Dylan, but the only way out was through the demons. If he accepted, he would have to take the lives of others. His eyes welled and he tried to blink away. He was back in the room, risking life and limb to save someone else's son. He never left. He wasn't going to stop either. Zeph knew he would go to hell and back for Dylan. Zeph closed his eyes on the stone and released his clenched fists. The cooling sensation held his hands as he recognized something that Nico said. You called him Dylan. Zeph turned around to Nico. You remembered his name this whole time, didn't you? No, I was just trying to get under his skin. Nico's eyes darted to his compatriots. You did! Are you trying not to care? Zeph took a step forward that Nico took backwards. Niquidius, are you afraid to admit that you relate to us, mere mortals? You are being ridiculous. You sound ridiculous. This is purely for financial gain. Nico started to believe his words. Now sign that damn contract so I can be rid of you. Oasis. Zephaniah looked around the hall as if to understand its granite as he stepped closer and closer. This place, these demons, you're hiding them from the natural order you were talking about. What's wrong with these guys that they have to be hidden in your domain? Enough, mortal. Do not pretend to understand us. Sign the contract or I will resend my offer and leave you to wander the wastes on your own. Nico's face hardened and the contract appeared before them. 50, Zeph declared. What? 500 is too much. 50. His eyes narrowed on the demon. The glowing red letters flickered in the change on the contract as Zeph spoke. Nico smirked. 50? What do I look like, charity? I can easily get 400 elsewhere. The red letters flickered again. Then go get 400 elsewhere. I can do 100. How's 100? Zeph watched the letters shift this time. 300 and I will be losing money. Nico's face glowed red with the shifting of the letters. 150. 200 and that's my final offer. Nico's eyes brimmed with excitement and the corners of his smile touched his ears. The glow of the letters stared back at Zephaniah. He could almost feel it on his skin, or maybe that was his cheeks filling with the implications of accepting this offer. If he accepted this, he would have to kill 200 people. What happens if I fail to get you all the souls? Then you relinquish your soul to me, and I can do with it what I wish. It will be transported immediately and directly to me from wherever you break the contract. Nico's smile doesn't budge. And you will transport me to where Dylan is. I can get you very close. Same time and space as him, but you won't just pop out next to him. You'll have to walk a bit, I'm sure. One last time, the letters shifted on the parchment, and finally Zeph could make sense of the characters. It was just as he said, plain and simple. Transport to the mortal realm in exchange for 200 unrepented souls. The details lay clear beneath it in plain language. Complex legal jargon was absent here. There were no tricks that Zeph could see in its clauses. Zeph reached toward the contract and a pen materialized in his hand. I'm going to save him, Nico. Nothing is going to stop me. Zephaniah Rios signed the bottom of the agreement. Nico's smile faded with the glow of the contract. The paper disappeared as if it were never there. Nico and Zeph stood in the center of the hallway and met eyes once more. I guess we'll just have to find out. Let's go, dude. That's so good. I love Nico. Nico's my favorite character. The dialogue was hilarious, man. Sharpest cheese in the pantry is such an interesting choice. Yeah, that was really good. All right, hold on. Let me. This is it on Wattpad, guys. Go check it out. Zeph is an idiot, and I love it. Honestly, the dynamic between Zeph and Nico is great. I really enjoyed that a lot. I really did. Whew. Story-wise, I don't really have any feedback at all. I thought it was great, man. I feel like we're at this point in the story for both of you guys that there is no like feedback. Like the ball's rolling. Keep it up. I thought it was great. I loved it. I really did. Nico is awesome. Story so far. I'm seeing where the story is going. I like the the idea of the 200 souls, and however that's going to transpire. I can see that turning into something really, really awesome. Yeah, definitely hooked. If I wasn't hooked already, I am hooked now because I want to see how Zeph is going to kill 200 people, essentially. Oh man, we all love bloodshed, don't we? Yes, right. I figured that. I'm like, wait, how he's gonna kill innocent people? You had me going, you're stringing me along. I'm like, there's no way. But then I realized, I'm like, well, why would innocent people go to hell? So, it was really good. It's really well thought out. Thought you did great, man. I'm excited for the next chapter.